your timer going off and then
Sorry, my laundry's done, but I'm gonna let it sit.
Why are you doing laundry right before we record?
I switched it. I started this at 4. I had 2 loads. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Game Changers!
We made it! Woo! Special guest starting off the episode.
We said it was coming, and it's
We
here.
knew it was coming, and now we're here. Also, sorry, Kelsey and I changed spots.
Trust me, it's fucking us
It's
up
weird, and we realize our names are wrong, but we're rocking.
Yeah.
Anyways.
We're going right into it?
Should we jump?
Yeah, just jump right into
All
it.
right.
Do your thing, I'll do my thing, then we go right into
And then we
it.
go right into it.
Hell yeah, let's do
Because,
it.
you know, that's who we are. We like to jump.
We also are on
around here.
time crunch start.
A little bit. But as always, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/ATP Network, and listen to Game Changers wherever you get your podcast, whether that is Spotify or Apple or some other place out there.
What other sites they have?
Yeah, whatever's out there. Follow Game Changers on social media at Game Changers ETP, and follow Empty the Bench Network at ETP Network. And now, your turn.
Presented by Playback.
You didn't do your little.
Well, because it's a new one, but I think it's actually roughly like pretty much the same, except for the last sentence. So, like, Scout, how do you watch your sports?
There we go.
What?
How do you watch your sports? Like, do you watch them alone? Do you watch them with family, friends?
Usually by myself, or I force my roommate to watch with me.
So, funny enough, watching sports is more fun with others.
If you didn't know.
If you didn't know.
If you weren't aware.
But we spend too much of our time watching our sports alone. So Playback is a virtual space where communities can stream live sports together with everyone perfectly synced up. Creators can hop on stage, deliver their own play-by-play analysts and commentary, invite viewers up for a Q&A.
Hey!
Playback makes
We do
watching
that
sports
right
fully interactive and a social experience. From playing fantasy sports, repping your favorite teams, and watching the commentaries communities you care about, win or lose, sports are best enjoyed together. College football is on Playback as the Ohio State Bucks take on Notre Dame Fighting Irish. There's never been a battle. Sorry, I just made that up. There's never been a path like this to the national championship as the final teams take the field. Everyone knows this one is bigger. Coverage gets underway at 7:15 Eastern Time with our national championship pre-show, with the game starting at 7:30 p.m. Join our community by going to playback.tv/ETP Network to find out more, including our live stream schedule.
I talk really
Yeah,
fast.
you killed it. While we're talking about it,
My bad.
While we're here, who do you think's gonna win the national title?
Not Ohio State.
Yeah,
Please,
agreed.
anyone but. I'm a Michigan fan.
Ooh.
And you know, we did not play well this year, but we beat Ohio State,
And that's what
and that's
matters.
all that matters. So anyone
true.
but Ohio State. I can't believe I'm gonna root for Notre Dame though. I'm not gonna lie.
My brother went to Notre Dame. Fun fact.
Okay,
So I'm a Notre Dame
Go
girl.
Irish.
Who do you think? Is that your answer?
No, I actually think Ohio State is going to come up. I'd have to see what the spread is, but I'd probably put Ohio State.
I think they'll probably win, but I'm.
Yeah, no.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
You didn't hear
No,
it from
I'm not
us.
speaking that into
Exactly.
existence.
Oh, where the fuck is our... Sorry.
We're a little all over the place,
Found
but it's
it.
because we're in different spots. But while we're here, and our special guest Scout is here. You remember Scout, right? Everybody out
Everyone's
there.
favorite girl crush.
Everybody remembers Scout. Scout was on the pod when we did episode number 5, if you can believe it, that long ago. All the way
Oh,
back
yeah, she was the whole hand.
All the way back in July. we did episode 5 with Scout. So we're just gonna kind of like catch up. Scout is a college field hockey player for the people out there who don't
And a
know.
damn good one.
So-
and I'm going to say it, captain next year.
Yay! So we're just gonna chat. We're gonna
Chop
chop
it
it
up.
up.
Yeah. Okay.
Who wants to go
How
first?
was field hockey?
Field hockey was great. I mean, I will say this. I came from a very successful like high school program, and we talked about that last time. Like,
Mhm.
very successful in both field hockey and lacrosse. And transitioning to a team that isn't winning every single game by 10 goals
Yeah,
or
blown
like
out.
like making a statement about how good we are just with our skills is very different and very difficult for me, and was a lot more difficult my freshman year than this year. I will say I've never had more fun on a team.
Oh,
And
Yay,
I
that's
have
good.
never
win. Great success.
I have never felt so supported by my coaches, by my teammates. It's just a completely different environment. I go to a historically women's college. So a lot of female athletes, a lot of interaction with the LGBTQ community, which really helps me as a queer athlete. And one thing I really appreciated this season was, oh God, I think my coaches were so just like, really, why are you doing that? But I decided I was going to wear the most insane makeup for every game. I think I sent Kelsey a couple pictures, and it was like double blue, like graphic eyeliner. Why? I'm like playing a sport. But for me, it was a way to just express myself and show like a different side of me that athletics never really gets to see, because I do crazy makeup like that almost every day. And it
sure does.
I send Kelsey pictures
and I'm like, yeah.
And for me, it was really important this season because I felt like I had more of a footing on my team and had solidified my place as a leader, as a solid player. I felt like I needed to bring in that aspect of my personal life and bring in my own individuality. And then for our Play for the Cure game, I did pink and blue eyeliner, and I brought it, and I did like almost every single person on my team's eyeliner that day. I was like, I was sitting in the lounge before, and I was like, guys, you gotta buy me new eyeliners because I'm running out. I'm running
out of makeup. Come on, guys.
It was so fun because it was something like a bunch of them were stepping outside of their comfort zones. But for me, it was a way that I got to share like my identity and my enjoyment of self-expression. And one of our coaches was very impressed. My other one was just like, as long as you can play well.
As long as you're done.
And she did. Scout posted up this season for real.
I believe it.
You know, I got my first collegiate goal.
Yeah,
in high school, I only played defense. I transitioned to a midfielder when I got to college. So I got to score my first goal this year. I also had a hat trick this season.
Because Scout's a baller.
She's insane, dude.
So that was fun. I found a new home on defensive corners.
Okay,
which was horrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Do you know what field hockey defensive corners are?
Is that when you're like...
You can stand in the goal.
You stand in the goal, and you have 4 of you in the goal with the goalie. And then the rest of your team is at the halfway, at the 50-yard line.
Yeah, that is terrifying.
And the offensive team will insert it out from the end line to the top of the circle, and they're pretty much just trying to hit it as hard as they can at you. And it was terrifying. I had a goal line save, though. I stopped one against Babson. That's like the highlight of my career.
Babson too. I know. Crazy.
We lost so bad. But I had a goal line save.
Yeah, you had that moment.
They think they're running the new Mac too.
Oh, I scored against Smith.
But that was a big F
It
you.
was really great. It was really great.
Oh, that makes me so fucking happy.
But yeah, I had a great season. I was elected captain by my teammates at the end of the season, so I'll be captain as a junior next year.
I love.
Played field hockey in Italy,
which was dope.
And Switzerland.
You went to Italy for
lacrosse.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah.
I'm going there in August, actually.
Are you really?
Yeah.
That's fun.
It's so great.
Visit the homeland.
It was
okay.
It was like the most insane experience ever. The jet lag after was horrible. Don't do media day on the day after you get off.
No, who planned that?
It was so bad. But my roommate and I were walking to and our coach has like a no makeup rule because she wants us to look like we've played in a game. Everyone wears makeup anyways. But we had like an insane amount of concealer on just because like I was so tired. I could not function.
Nah, the jet lag got me when I came back to Italy too, especially when you're playing, because I remember the first day I was like, oh, like that's gonna be hard for me to adjust, but like I landed and then we got like thrown into fucking practice and then game, and then it was like, okay, my body's tired, I'm gonna go to bed, and everyone else in Italy is going to bed, and then you're just on that schedule.
Yeah,
it was tough.
Yeah, but my season was great. I don't know. Last year I was announcing the lacrosse games at my school, so that was really fun. And this year I've been doing the basketball ones also. So for some reason, people keep giving me a microphone and letting me speak into it.
There we go, right here.
And so that's been really fun. Like, it's definitely out of my comfort zone, and I'm really always terrified I'm gonna mess up pronunciations. So like I'll practice. 2 days ahead of time, I'll know what team they're playing, and I'll look up their roster.
Yeah.
Because no one wants their name to be messed up.
No, of course not. That's your identity. That's you.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
But that's been really fun. I go back to school very shortly, so I'll get to do that again soon. But yeah, that's pretty much my little update on my life.
Solid. It's good. You say slay?
Yes, it's slay.
I've been back to coaching with these two.
Yes.
Sometimes.
Which is so fun. Scout shows up to practice. She's also our videographer.
Oh, yeah.
She shows up with her iPad.
I've become an iPad kid, taking a bunch of pictures and videos for the club, which is fun. I wasn't able to go last week though, and my dad came into my room and he was just like, "Can I take your iPad?" And then he asked me my password, and I was like, "Okay, but I'm gonna put do not disturb on because you still get all my texts.
Yeah.
And I don't want that right now."
When Scout shows up, it's great because her dad, like I think we said this before, her dad's like the director of our program, and so often he'll be like, chime in or out, like if you're coming or if you're not going, and like it's like normally Scout's out because she's away, but now that she's been home, and then it's like we don't know if she's in or out. So like
I'm not in that group chat.
I
don't know what you're talking about.
I'm also not.
Your dad every single weekend's like, chime in or out. Who can I count on?
Every week he sends a text, and then every week he's like, shocked I go. And I'm like, I told you I could come every week, and then he never fucking texts me.
Wait, that's actually hilarious.
I'm not in the, check it. I'm not in the group chat.
Well,
I was in like
there's
one
like
group chat.
17 chats.
Yeah. There's a lot of them because there's one from like the summer, and that's
Yeah.
different than the one from the winter and the one from the
Fall, yes.
But no, he assumes I can go every weekend that I'm home, and I was sick last week, and my mom was like, "John, you told all the college kids they didn't have to go. That's your daughter. That is your daughter."
Yeah.
He was like, "Yeah, I told all the college kids they didn't need to come this week." And she's like, "So that would be Scout." And he's like, "Well, she's always welcome." And she goes, "She needs to sleep."
Yes,
I'm very thankful
yes,
for my
Mom.
sleep.
He did walk into practice, and he was like, "Yeah, I told the college kids not to come because I think if they came, there would be more coaches than players."
Really?
Yeah.
I did. I mean, I texted him too that I couldn't go. Last week was the first one that I missed, and it was I felt bad missing.
One of the players was like, "If I'm here this early, Kelsey could be here this early."
I'm there. I'm a fucking morning person. Like it wasn't the time. It wasn't the time that had me down. Like
What's been so crazy about this winter though, and like you both played in the club when it started, and so did I. Like.
Mhm.
Is to see how many coaches we have now.
So many.
So many. I love it.
No, I love it.
Although it's a little overwhelming right now, where I'm like, there's
sometimes.
so many.
No,
coaches.
it's gonna be better in the summer
But-
when there's that many. But
There's been, I mean, so many times. I think about 2 summers ago when every coach had 2 teams because we just didn't have enough interest and enough people necessarily that could commit to that much time. But now it's great because all the college kids coming back.
no,
Yeah.
it's been great. It was like a couple weekends ago when I was there, and I was like, "There's 16 coaches."
Yeah,
I was like, "We are
sometimes
averaging a
have
good ratio." We're
That's
like,
why I've got the iPad.
yeah.
That's why Scott's on iPad duty.
Or I'm in drills.
I love when Scout's in a drill. We talked about you being in a drill a couple weekends
Did you
ago.
really?
Yeah, we were talking because we were like, "Oh, maybe we'll get Scout on," and I was like, "Bro, I mean, there's nothing like the." All right, let's give the rundown for those who don't know. So there's 2 sessions, and they're always early as heck, which is fine.
it's fine, but
It's
in the
fine.
moment,
It's
like,
early
God.
as heck on your fine Sunday morning, and it's fine. Like I'm happy to be there, but sometimes if the kids don't bring the energy and you don't have the energy, there is no energy. So sometimes we need to find the energy, and it was like the second session. Kids are dragging, and Scout is just fucking all-state amazing at defense, and then I like Scout has such a particular way of how she plays defense, which makes her that good.
I'm
And
obnoxious.
and
I'm loud.
I just hear like I got ball. I was like, Scout's in the drill, and I literally like finished my drill and looked over, and I was like, whoa, and I was like, she's playing, and I was like,
it's the second session too, so it's the younger kids.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I'm
it's
like,
the
I'm
littles.
like
It's
as
literally
hard
the
as I
littles.
can against like
You gotta.
6th graders,
You
and
gotta.
I'm like, no, I got it. One
They
of
love it,
them,
though.
yeah, one of them really tripped me up the other day. She ran all over the place. I was like, I'm not following you. Like I'm tired.
You do your thing, girl.
It's like I haven't warmed up. I'm in sneakers. We're on turf
I didn't
right now.
stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but when it started, I was actually talking to your dad about this last week because my parents were away for a week, so I used it as an opportunity to like completely change my room and like clean my drawers in my closet and everything. But I found like old teen like
203
stuff.
shit. Yeah.
I found old gear, and he was like, "Oh, you should have brought it." And I was like, "I'm not gonna bring it." But I found the tank top. Do you remember we got the tank
Yeah.
tops and they have the American flag on
I
them?
still have that. Yeah,
I have
liked
it
that tank
somewhere.
top.
I did like that. I work out in that one.
So much old stuff.
Yeah, I have all my
stuff.
2.
I have stuff from like when it was like the boys club.
Yeah, I know, me too.
Yeah.
My parents let me throw out, like, I mean, I'm happy that they don't. They think I'm gonna have like one big shadow box jersey room in my place when I'm older. So I have every jersey I've ever, all my pennies, like they're all in a thing.
Yeah, I mean,
Dad,
I
gifts
guess
the shirts for Christmas. Like he wrapped up a couple Team C t-shirts
That's
this year. Like
good.
gave them to my cousins. It's like here.
That's
And my
good.
cousins are like, okay, I'll wear it.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But when I played in the first years, before your dad came on, before
it was
the dark ages, we
Hey,
had,
I was there with you, buddy.
I know.
I was right there
I
with
was
you.
actually telling another coach we coach with, Jess. about this. We had this one coach, and I won't name her, because I don't remember her.
I still know that you hate her.
And she was, honest to God, she was probably the worst ever lacrosse coach I think I've ever had in my whole life.
I know who you're talking about.
She was so bad, and she just, like, also wasn't good with kids, and, like, just not good all around. And her only reason she was a coach was because she played in college. Like, that was it.
But, like,
she was not good.
Never mind. I'm not even going to go there.
I mean, I feel like that was, like, the way we grew up, like, getting coached was just people who played and not necessarily people who liked kids and not necessarily people who knew how to coach properly.
Yeah. So all that to say, though, that I'm happy that
we've come a long way.
Yes, we've come a long way as a little
how we
club.
started versus how it's going.
Yeah. But yeah, she was awful. And then there was
yeah, she was trash. Next.
But then there was also the other girl coach, and she was like fine, but she had like she must have been their high school coach. Do you remember?
Yes, I know.
I don't even know if she was their high school coach, but she, like,
she's still attached to that school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm just not naming anything.
Yeah, good. Don't, because I don't care, and I don't, But
yeah.
she was the two of them were together, and they were bad together, and then because it was like
you would think two negatives would make a positive, but not in this case.
Because I'm trying to remember too how it broke down, because it wasn't by grade, because we just didn't have the numbers for that, but we did have two teams.
We did have two teams. It was like an A and a B.
I think it was like seniors and juniors, or like, I don't know, sophomores and juniors, and
I don't know, but
8th and freshmen.
That shit was that. Well, I was the only 8th grader the club had.
Yeah, because you were hot shit. Yeah, I get it.
I hate that. No, it was just that was just like fucking. I remember like there was this one girl who was like looking at like St. Lawrence, and like she was like 6 feet tall, and
yeah, I remember.
And then there was me.
Yeah, we were little babies.
And then she kept trying to feed it to me too. She was like, "Your shot." I was like, "I don't want to shoot." And she was like, "Your shot." And I was like, "I get it. I'll shoot."
But yes, all that to say, we've come a long way. What else has happened from the summertime? Any other fun updates on your life?
Not really, honestly. I'm currently in the process of applying for internships, which is the worst thing I've ever had to do.
That's so crazy to hear about too, because like I like to think I'm not that far removed from college, and I'm like, oh my god, internships. I was an intern in like, I don't know, 2020.
Yeah.
No, I've been thinking that too. I'm like, oh, I'm not that far out of college, and then I'm like, oh, this person I went to college with, and I was like, it was like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But it literally like feels like I was there yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just I'm making more time for things that are not necessarily just athletics, which is something I've been working on, definitely. So I've been enjoying a lot more theater lately, which I love, different types of theater. So going to see a show tomorrow. I saw 2 weeks ago. So yeah, just trying to find a better balance in my life.
Oh, need that.
Yeah. Like at peace right now. What's going on?
I know. I don't know. I'm at peace for the camera.
There's no chaos.
Oh, there's chaos. There's always chaos.
No, that is good. It's so nice having these conversations, and like I love that the podcast brings us together, because I'm like, I also need peace in my life.
Yeah.
And hearing that you're doing it, I'm like, if Scott could do it, I could do it.
Well, what helps is like the school I go to, I think it's very unique, and like all of my teammates are, I don't like using like stereotypical terms or anything, but they're not like your typical like athletes that play in college. And they're not like my best friend roommate. She is alternative. She's goth. And she's like so into different. Cool as hell, though. She's the coolest person. I'm nowhere near as cool as her.
She seems cool as hell.
And she's helped me kind of come out of my shell a little bit and like find new interests in life. And she's really into different types of music. I can't wake up to the heavy metal anymore, though. I can't do it.
This guy's like, please make your alarm.
If you're listening to this, please.
But she was the one I went to see 2 shows with in New York a couple weeks ago, and then one of my other best friends is like has never been just only ever focused on athletics, but she has kind of gotten lost in only ever being down one path. So her and I are kind of finding a way to just expand our horizons. That's my friend Diane.
Is this
what up, girl?
Yeah.
Who's like drop dead gorgeous.
No,
like drop dead.
I know. I need to start being like as invested in Scott's life as you are. So no, like
can we
pull up a picture
of her later? I'll show
literally her drop dead gorgeous. I was like imagine having it that easy. Like insane.
But, like I feel very lucky to go to the school that I do, where I have coaches that support me going and trying different things and trying to be in different not necessarily athletic spaces. And it's been like so healing.
That's good
for me. Because I don't know, I was a 3-sport athlete for some of high school, and then lacrosse was my entire life. And when I tell people at school that I was thinking about playing lacrosse in college, they look at me like, wait, you played lacrosse?
Be like, you were good at
guys, I lived lacrosse. That was my life.
She's still low-key living lacrosse through her dad.
I will never get out of it.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
That's it.
Yeah. I feel like we need to move on, though. I feel like I just talked about
You've been
myself for
yapping?
a really long time.
Well, that's what you're here for, but we can move on because now somebody else is going to talk about themselves.
Yay!
Yay! 75 hard.
This one won't be as long as the other one. This will be pretty quick. 75 hard update. I had, was it yesterday? Yes. Yesterday was my best check-in I've had. Yeah. I posted about it on my close
and I liked it.
Sure did.
I saw it.
I
didn't like it.
Yesterday my weigh-in, I was down. Actually, today was my best weigh-in, but then like I fucking breathed in the air and then it was like back up, which is so annoying. But as of, I guess we'll go off of this morning's number. As of this morning, we are down 8.1 pounds, which is cool. 75 hard is hard. It's very hard. The mornings are hard, but getting back in the groove of it, I think I said last time that we were on the pod that I was giving myself Wednesday and then the weekend because it was my birthday and then my birthday weekend, and I did give myself that. It's actually so crazy how the body can get used to routine because I let myself eat off of routine and I was paying for it literally until Monday. Like literally until Monday.
Nice.
It was not fun at all. But it was okay. I like holding myself accountable. And I think like even so for example, like Tuesday morning, I did not want to go to the gym at all. I was in bed. My friend said that she wasn't going anymore. And normally her and I go in the mornings every morning. And I just didn't have time yesterday to go besides in the morning. And so I was just like, you're going to get your big back up and you're going to go and do this. And so I did it. And then I felt great afterwards. And I was happy that I got it done. Today's active rest day. I have a little gym date with my friends after this, which is why I'm like, I have to go. I have to go. Because the other thing is like, it's the sleep. Like I have to be like, that's the other thing. Like 75 is hard for the hard parts of like the diet and what you need to do. But then also like, there's so many little things of like the reading, the sleeping, the bedtime, and like the last time that you eat and like how much water you're pushing. Like you're on like such a strict timed schedule of what you're supposed to do. So yeah.
Yeah. I need to be on that because I can't wake up. I can't go to bed at 12 and wake up at 6 anymore. It's not good for me.
No, I had to do that Monday night though. I was on duty for my job and that sucked. That sucked. That sucked. I fell asleep at 12. My alarm went off at 5:45. I said, we just hit the pillow. Like I fell asleep so fast and so hard that I fell asleep and I woke up in the same position and I said, oh, like someone's alarm is going off. It was my alarm. 5 hours had passed by. It was me. It was terrible. That was not fun.
But other than that, it's going well.
I think I was doing 75 harder before my birthday, and then I like am easing back into it. But I like next week I'll probably have a better update because I'm gonna go like all back in. I have no excuses now, and I think my next like day that I'll let myself have is probably my friend's birthday on the 22nd.
Okay.
I'll let myself like eat normal food. Been on a lot of chow, a lot of chicken and rice.
Okay. Well, I'm glad it's going well.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Of course.
Next.
Now I get to yap.
Yay!
Yes. Now we're going to talk a little bit about sports, and then at the end we have another thing we're going to talk about, but whatever. So I sent this to Kelsey. Allow me to educate you, Scout.
Allow me to
do.
reintroduce myself.
Because I sent it to Kelsey on Instagram, so I want to make sure I get
My problem is I follow absolutely no like sports updates on Instagram. I only follow them on TikTok, so I'm screwed.
Yeah, you are the definition of SOL.
So there's a goalie on the Utah Royals, which is an NWSL team. Her name is Carly Nelson. And she is taking a mental health leave from the Royals. And if you have been an active follower of the Game Changers episodes, you will know that very early on, probably pre-episode 5, we talked
That was
about
the episode right before mine.
Yes, there we go.
Episode
So
4.
So we talked about the Utah Royals and how their head coach was like removed, and nobody really knew why, because their head coach was a woman named Amy Rodriguez, who was a U.S. Women's national teamer and just like really good soccer player. So she puts out this statement, Carly Nelson, and she's like, basically, I was subjected to relentless toxicity through this job. And then she said, when they prioritize power over people, abuse thrives unchecked. And she also said women are often exploited while organizations profit off of their talents. And she said,
sorry.
and she said, the abuse I faced impacted my livelihood and undermined the 22 years of my life it took to get to this level. She said it's systemic and all this stuff. So another day, another NWSL controversy. We're just racking them up at this point.
Another day, another loss from Sav.
Another day, another. Oh, really? I feel like I'm so far away. Let me scoot in.
Yeah.
So yeah, that sucks. Hopefully the mental health leave for Carly will be good.
Hopefully it helps,
but I feel like we've just been seeing it so much in the sport, especially women's soccer has just, as we've talked about before, just gone through so much stuff with people in power abusing the position they hold, because they're like, haha, you work for me, so I can bench you, or whatever abuse they choose.
Whatever.
And I'm not saying, I didn't say that that's what they do. That's an example of a potential thing. Don't get mad at me. So yeah, that's that pretty much. Now your timer going off in the
Sorry, my laundry's done, but I'm gonna let it sit.
Why are you doing laundry right before we record?
I switched it. I started this at 4. I had 2 loads. Sorry.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So wait.
Yes.
The NWSL, how new
are these the fidget rings? Do they spin?
Yeah. Helps my anxiety.
I low-key need one of those.
Whoa.
I know, isn't it cool?
Where'd you get her?
I stole it from a friend who I'm not friends with anymore.
Got him.
It was from high school, like years ago. How new of an organization is the NWSL?
The NWSL has been around.
I don't know why I did that. Sorry.
Thank you. The NWSL has been around for a while. It's just been around in different forms. So I would say the modern era of the NWSL that we have now is 10 years old or so.
Okay. So it's is that one of the older professional women's sports leagues? Kind of if you think about there's the WNBA.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a lot of controversy with the WNBA always.
Yeah, the WNBA is older. The WNBA is from the 90s.
I don't know. I feel like as women's sports become try to push into these spaces, there's more issues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that I don't know.
No, I understand what you're saying. I think it just also comes down to there have just been so many moments in women's sports that have gone unchecked with people just being assholes pretty much.
Yeah.
The team in Utah, the NWSL has gone through a lot of phases where they have teams go away, and then they bring franchises back from the dead pretty much. So Utah used to be in the NWSL, then they left and now they're back. And Boston, which is going to join, was in the NWSL previously, and now they're back. So Utah itself is a newer club. This is their first year playing, and they've had multiple issues. So I'm not sure what's going on and how that happened, and how you kind of hire these people who are not nice. But I mean, we talked about it too when we talked about the San Diego Wave and Jill Ellis and all that stuff. At some point, you just kind of stop being an asshole. I think that's what comes down to.
At some point, you just gotta be a good person.
At some point, just stop being mean to people and
being power hungry.
Yeah, and making their life miserable. Because at the end of the day, yes, especially for a professional athlete, doing a sport is a job. Doing it well is your job. You get paid to perform.
Yep.
But just like any other workplace, you should never be subject to abuse and somebody who's I'm your boss, so if you don't do this for me, I'm not gonna play you. That's wrong.
I hear you. I don't do that.
I didn't say you did that.
Okay.
It's just
sure.
a moment. Okay. Well, that's that. We'll follow it. And then another thing I want to talk about quickly. I don't know if it will change by the time this episode goes out. So if it does, we'll put out an edit or something, something like that. But there are 3 remaining. 3. Count them.
Trace. You also do your 3s like this.
Yes, I do.
I do my 3s like this, and someone's like, I've never seen someone just go in.
This is stupid.
This is so stupid.
May I say that? This is dumb.
Or have you seen this one before?
No, that's stupid.
No. But no, listen. Baseball players do this because when they're like this, they can't see if it's 3 or 4, so they go like this.
Why do you play baseball?
I don't. No, I don't. I'm just telling you. That's
Thank you for educating me. We're kind of matching. Mine's a little darker. Never mind. Anyways, there are 3 teams that are still undefeated. It used to be 4, but then Georgia Tech lost over the weekend, which low-key is sad because I am like weirdly obsessed with Georgia Tech's head coach.
Oh.
She's cool.
Cooler than me? Can't be.
Can't be.
Could be.
Anyways, so it's Ohio State, which we talked about earlier because Ohio State's playing in the football national championship, but Ohio State's undefeated. UCLA is undefeated. UCLA is also, if I'm not mistaken, the number 1 team in the country. And then the other one is
LSU.
Yes, it's LSU. I was like, it's gonna come to me. It's LSU. And I just think that's cool because
I love it.
It's very hard in basketball, I think, especially to go undefeated.
I like it. I'm a UConn fan. I've been a UConn fan since I was like a baby.
It's just it's where we're at.
And I am sad like that UConn isn't as great as they were, but I also think it's so good for the sport in general. Like I think about when I was in middle school and everyone was like, and like the conversation surrounding Gino and the UConn women's basketball team was, are they too good? Like, is this hindering women's sports? And he was like, why would we play less than what our opponents deserve? Like we should be pushing them to also want to be as good as us.
Yeah.
And I feel like right now those 3 teams are not teams 5 years ago you would have said would be undefeated.
Oh yeah,
which
Ohio
is really
State?
cool.
Yeah, I know.
Ohio State?
Yeah.
Except Ohio State has had good teams in the past. What's her name?
Yeah.
Kelsey Mitchell played at Ohio State. She's like 3rd or 4th on the list all-time scoring for college basketball.
Yeah.
Ohio State's the big shocker to me. Also because they play in the Big Ten, and the Big Ten now is like so much better than it was even just like a year ago.
The Big Ten is big.
Well, yeah, what is it? The Big 15 basically at this point?
Yeah.
Because they have USC, which is also a fucking unreal team. UCLA, unreal. Oregon has been better, but Penn?
No, like never
Penn
mind.
State.
I meant Penn State.
Oh, I thought you meant like Penn, the Ivy League, and I was like,
no, Penn State.
Yeah,
No.
Penn State. Yeah, Penn State's in it, but I'm not sure how good they are at basketball.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said no. But
yeah. Okay, sorry. Listen, my bad.
Yeah. All right. Anyway.
So then I guess also Iowa, Big Ten, but they're all right.
Right.
They've been better. They've been better. But maybe the Big Ten is emerging as like the college basketball conference. LSU plays in SEC, which is
there really isn't a women's basketball like it conference.
I would agree. There's like not one.
Unlike other
sports.
UConn and like freaking LSU or South Carolina every year.
Yeah, that's also like the SEC. I guess has been dominant because it has South Carolina, but you know South Carolina isn't as good as they used to be. I'm not an ACC hater. However, the ACC could be better. Syracuse women's basketball is pretty good. So is Duke. Their coach is Kara Lawson. She played for Tennessee under Pat Summitt. My girl. I love Pat Summitt.
I like the Duke coach.
Yeah, she's cool. She seems cool, at least. I don't really know. I don't know her personally. Never met her.
We ripped the LSU coach's fit last week.
Oh my god, that was the ugliest.
It was so bad.
That was so.
I was like, let me say this real quick.
It was so ugly. Kim Mulkey, babe.
Oh my god, one of my coaches for our Halloween practice dressed up as gay Kim Mulkey.
I love it.
Wore like an entire rainbow suit. It was so funny.
Need that in my closet.
Yeah,
we were playing kickball.
You need to bring that out for the wedding.
We were like, what are you dressed as? She goes, gay Kim Mulkey. We were like, okay.
And you ate.
We're like, I see it.
I hope she acted like her because there's somebody on TikTok who like acts like Kim Mulkey at like a pickup basketball game, and she'll be like, "Why aren't you passing the ball?" And she's like, "Kim Mulkey, there's nobody here."
That's funny.
I have to find them, but they're good ones.
Yeah, you guys start sending those.
All right. And now
we're gonna get into it.
All right. So before we like really talk
We're gonna do it.
it's important to know, I think, for anybody listening and for the people sitting here, that everybody's entitled to their own opinion. You can feel however you would like to feel about it. We will just talk about the ways we feel. And if you don't agree, like, that's okay. Like, nobody's making you agree or like saying you have to agree. But this is a piece of history for women's sports. So I feel like it needs to be talked about.
You don't have to agree, but keep language respectful if talking about this with anyone. These are, like, everyone involved is a person. And at the end of the day, they have feelings. And I feel like that gets lost when we have these conversations very often, because hate can come so quickly when people have very strong opinions.
Yeah. So without further ado,
the House passes an anti-trans legislation.
Yeah. And so I don't know all the details of it. Like, I haven't fully like read the documents or anything like that. But what I'm understanding as the general consensus of what has been passed is that it's really harmful to trans women and that they will not be able to participate in women's sports. And my personal belief is that trans women are women and deserve to be treated as women. So first of all, like, thoughts to those affected, because, you know, that sucks. I can't imagine a world where I don't get to play sports and I'm not trans. You know, but like Scout and I won't speak for you, but Scout and I are queer. So it's like, imagine we wouldn't be able to play sports. Like, that's kind of the evolution of things, you know, at the end of the day.
It would break my heart. I wouldn't have met y'all.
Exactly. So
my people.
You know, it sucks, and it's like, I feel so like weird being like, I feel so bad for you, but like, I truly like feel so bad because it's not fair.
Yeah.
Like I said before, I go to a it's called a historically women's college. So it's important to note that it is not an all women's college. We are a historically women's college that was the first of the Seven Sisters schools to include gender diverse and gender non-conforming language into our admissions process. So you do not need to be a woman or identify as a woman to go to our school, unlike some of the other HWCs and Seven Sisters schools. So I am at a very, very progressive school. I have trans teammates. One of my teammates, he took a step back because he wants to start testosterone. And that was an unfortunate decision he had to make. He knew he couldn't play anymore, but he's also not a woman, and he didn't want to necessarily play women's sports. He's on the club ice hockey team. We always go, we cheer him on, go Sid. He's great. But one thing that this is really harmful, this legislation is very harmful, is, and I was saying this right before the episode, and Kelsey goes, save it for the podcast, is that legislation like this villainizes queer people, and it villainizes specifically trans people. Basically, if you break it down, you're saying trans people shouldn't be allowed to play sports because they want to just be better. Trans women specifically shouldn't be allowed to play in women's sports because they have a genetic advantage and they are going to ruin women's spaces, and they are doing this to be the best. Essentially, when the conversation breaks down, and this happened in, it was like a couple years ago with I think her name's Leah Williams, something like that, the swimmer, where people were pulling up her records from when she identified as a male and was a male swimmer, saying, well, she couldn't win as a man, so now of course she wants to join these women's spaces and just dominate the competition. She was not dominating the competition. She was not winning outright at every single contest. But by using that language to talk about queer people and to talk about people who just want to live as themselves and their identity, puts a target on their back, makes it sound like they are villains, makes them sound like awful people for just wanting to live. And what's really difficult about these conversations is once you open that up, what else are you opening up? Like, what other conversations are you, like, kind of creating a place to happen that can be really harmful to trans and queer people? So,
yeah,
I don't know. It's like,
it's tough. It's like,
it's definitely hard. And like, it's hard to talk about because again, these are just people who want to live their lives. And I don't see a problem with that.
Yeah.
And
yeah. I mean, I agree 1,000%. And I also think too, like, I feel like across the board for like generations, it's like no matter how a woman is and what they do and how they choose to live their life, like there's never a win in the situation unless you present yourself as like a cishet woman who is like down to like serve her husband and like have babies and, you know, do all that shit. And if that's what you want to do, like that's totally cool. That's what you want. That's what you want. You get after it. Me personally, I don't really want that. That's not my vibe. But it also, like, when I think about anti-trans legislation and barring people from sports, I think a lot about Caster Semenya, who was a woman, born a woman, like everything. I don't know why I said that. But she has a higher, like, naturally occurring level of testosterone in her body. And she runs track. So she was like banned from running track and like going to the Olympics because she has this high level of testosterone in her body. So she can't run with women, but she can't run with men. It's like we're kind of like getting nitpicky about it at that point.
Well, it's like, and I had this conversation with someone over like the summer with the Olympics when Aman Khalif was
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that whole situation with the boxing, the women's boxing, where so many influencers and podcasters and whoever you want to say, like politicians in the United States started attacking this woman who was assigned the sex of female at birth, by the way, was not a trans person at all. That shouldn't matter, but for this purpose, she was not. And basically just saying because she had certain attributes, because she looked a certain way, she should not be able to participate in this. And I had a conversation with someone and I was like, because they were disagreeing with my stance. And I said, well, why do we praise Michael Phelps? He has webbed feet. He is he's a freak of nature. And he is looked at as one of the greatest athletes of all time. Why do we love LeBron? Like, why do we love so many male athletes that have genetic like differences and they have the ability to.
That's a really good point.
Like, why are we praising these men for the same things we're tearing women down for?
Yeah.
And there's no it's not
no anti-webbed feet laws.
It's just, it comes down to hate, and that's the worst part about the dog's part.
The dog.
Yeah, we're not rolling our eyes about what Scott's talking about.
No, it's this fucking dog.
The worst part is it just comes down to hate, and sports should be a place where you feel supported, and it should be the closest you feel to someone. Your teammates should be the people that you can go to about anything. And right now, I think about that Boise State volleyball player who's trans, and that's where this legislation originated from. Was a team refused to play against her team and forfeited the game because Boise State had a trans player on their team, and then one of that player's teammates came out speaking against her. Yeah, but it's also not just about. If I'm talking too much, let me know. It's not just about college athletes and professional athletes. There are teenagers that are dealing with this. And it's very sad to see as someone who is very involved in queer athletics. And if that sounds crazy and like a weird thing, it is a thing.
It's real.
It's real. Like, the queer athletic community is very supportive of each other. And this is very difficult to see, like, our trans like peers dealing with this right now, and knowing that it doesn't necessarily affect us directly, but I don't know what's going to happen. Like the talk.
We don't mean to laugh. We really
no,
don't.
But yeah, this news is definitely very upsetting. It's tough. It'll be interesting to go back to school and kind of see.
I will end with this just because we do have to wrap it up, but I would say you guys said a lot of things that I was going to say.
Sorry.
You guys.
I told you. Give me a microphone.
Like a good
I'm just gonna
5-minute rant, which is totally fine. I was just waiting for my turn. But I think Scout said something that really nailed it on the head in that aspect that sports should be the closest thing that you feel to someone or something. And I just think back to like me, and I identify and I was born a female, and I've been so blessed and lucky to be able to play in sports. And if I didn't have that, or if I had that and then someday said that like someone someday was just like, you know what, you can't actually do that anymore because we just don't want you to because it's unfair or something. Like that's like I would go through a whole identity crisis because I don't know what I am. Like being an athlete is such a huge part of me, and it breaks my heart that someone might not be able to experience that or feel those feelings because it's shaped me and given me so many qualities and expectations and things that I live by day by being an athlete. So I do feel.
Mm-hmm.
It's also important just to say that trans people are not just deciding to be trans to play sports.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're not just deciding to be trans to go into a bathroom. They are dealing with something that is probably really difficult to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to tell their family and tell their friends. This is not just I want to win a medal thing. This is someone's life. And again, these are people.
Trans people are people. Don't you forget it.
Trans women are women. Trans men are men.
Exactly.
That's a good one.
And now we will try to bring the vibes back up because we ended on some heavy shit.
Yep.
But thanks for coming, Scout.
Thanks, of course.
Always love
you
to
guys,
have you.
You guys let me yap about my life, about
Always.
LGBTQ rights,
Always.
everything I want to
Always.
talk about.
We give Scout the mic and we let her yap. We just say,
Yeah, we let her go.
I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate you guys always.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Scout, for coming back. You
Thank
are
you
the
guys for having
highlight
me. I know.
always.
We love having you.
I do want to throw in a little, if we have any followers or any Game Changer fans who are affected by the fires.
Good call.
My heart is with you guys. My heart breaks for you. There's so many donation sites. I know in my school we've been doing lots of donations as well. So hopefully you guys get those soon. And not alone. I know it might feel like it and a lot of shit's going on, but you're not alone.
Yeah.
Got a whole lot of people behind you.
We're
waiting
here
to
for
support
you. The three of us. Scout too.
Me too.
But yeah.
All right. Good.
Yeah.
Word. And break.